Hey guys, we're totally live! I don't even know what that was.
Sorry,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 107 of the Crafty Boys.
Not 107.
107. Apparently, according to one of the articles, we're going to live at least that long. Yeah!
Yeah.
I'm going to drink beer like a madman now because I'll just know in like 20 years, you need a new liver? Yep. Let me 3D print that for you. Done. All right. Open you up. Zip.
That is true. That is actually a good point that we can actually 3D print our own livers. So let's throw caution to the wind.
Okay, let's just get loaded every day. Hi guys. How's it going, boys? Have you all been keeping up this past week with all kinds of cool stuff? You, Alan, I see you haven't grown any hair.
No,
Dave,
I have not.
How's your
I have
face?
A little bit of hair.
Okay, I have a little bit too, but I'm hiding it right now for out of the love I have.
I'm actually clean shaven for like the first time in like a year.
That's terrible. Well, I took the clippers yesterday.
Well, I did more than clippers. I actually shaved. In fact, I cut myself. Can you see?
Holy shit!
Yeah, oh Jesus! What the hell? What the hell, man? Good Lord!
He's out of practice.
I don't know.
You gotta stop that, man. That's dangerous.
I didn't feel it. Like after I was done, I just saw blood streaking down my face. Like I didn't even feel it when I did it.
Shaving
this
is for
why
chumps.
the electric is the ruler of the razors.
Which one is that one? Is that the new one? All right, that's what I'll drink then.
What? You're drinking something new?
I bottled yesterday.
Oh, okay. Hey, I thought we were drinking like an actual beer.
Well, I was going to get to that, but I got distracted with talking about stuff. So anyway, so yesterday, the beer of this week, I chose because I happened to be at their brewery, Bridge Brewing up in North Van. I was up there helping out some neighbors get some stuff for some repairs, and then they're like, let's go to Bridge Brewing. And I'm like, yeah. And then I was like standing there in the line going, I totally haven't picked a beer for tomorrow. And I'm looking around. I'm like, Sidecut IPA. We had an IPA that we declared the week before as being the best thing ever. And I'm like, we have to have a contender to come up against it right soon afterwards. So therefore, that's why this beer was chosen. However, when you have growlers and you go to a place where you buy their beer from, try not to drink the whole thing before the podcast.
You drank the whole thing before the podcast.
Yeah. So I had help, but that's essentially why I'm a doofus.
You really dropped the ball here, man. I mean,
I know. Well,
we're out here busting our butts, going around all over town looking for this beer for you, and you don't even have the common courtesy to hold on to at least a glass full of it so that we can all drink it together on the podcast. This kind of defeats the whole purpose of the podcast. You know what? I'm out.
However, in my defense, I did call around quite a bit, and a couple, and my neighbor also called around looking for this beer because he was insistent that we drink it today. So, so there you go. So there was a lot of that going around, which I was fully supporting of. Oh! I have to show you something. Oh, I can't. It's up on the thing. Never mind. I got a cool thing today that I wanted to show you, but I'll show you next week. So anyway, so this week, before I'm going to be drinking this. This is.
I'm holding up the label. I'm holding up the label.
There we go. Thank you. Sidecut. Hold on. So Bridge Brewing. Sidecut Northeast IPA. Now, the big thing about this particular beer is that, of course, it's East Coast, and they do things a little differently. So they remove the bitterness. They don't use as many bittering hops, and they actually are more sort of sweet, savory kind of stuff. So it's a smoother IPA, and I
like my kind of beer.
I drank it a lot yesterday, so I give it a thumbs up. Bridge Brewing. This beer is
we haven't had an opportunity to give it anything yet.
So the show's now over. Alan left, and Dave's, Dave, he doesn't like IPAs anyway. So thanks everyone for watching. No. So I want to see what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys think about the.
Okay.
The beer.
Okay. So I'll open mine. There we go. So is it not filtered?
It's not looking that way.
Unfiltered beer. It's unfiltered.
Nice. Can you hear me pouring it?
Yes, I can actually.
Look at that. Now it says that it's brewed with North Shore water. I assume that doesn't mean seawater.
No, there are mountains in the North Shore, and the water comes off of them. So yes. Although
pale malt, oat malt, flaked oats.
There is a rumor that most of the water, that actually, if not all of the water used for beer in this city, is actually beer
trucked in
from the Vancouver water system. So there you go. Congratulations, you're drinking Vancouver city water. That's had stuff added to it. There you go.
It's good.
I fully support that choice of sentence because it is really good. I was surprised because I had never had it before. I know that we have had it. I think we've had at least one Bridge Brewing beer in the past. I've forgotten what it is, but overall, was it the IPA? I thought it was their West Coast Ale or whatever they call it. It's got
I think it was
the blue label. But overall, yeah, Bridge Brewing is.
It has like a juicy kind of look to it, like.
Yeah, that's exactly the word that I used, as well as other people that tasted it yesterday, was juicy. It is a juicy IPA.
Maybe they should have called it that.
The juice.
Call it juicy IPA.
Drink the juice, man. Drink the juice. More juice. Juice. Drink your juice. Drink.
Like, I feel like I should put in a sippy cup and take it to bed with me.
Why the hell not?
For my nap.
I think for your nap. I'm a vampire. I drink at 9 o'clock at night, and then I get up at 11, and then I drink more of my juice. Quite honestly, there's a market for sippy cups for beer drinkers. I think that's not a bad idea at all. Yeah.
So it's got an IPA of 59. Not an IPA, an IBU rating.
An
IBU rating of 59.
Which is actually a bit lower than
it is lower. But it's very smooth. Very easy drinking.
Look at that.
I want to know what
Sexy
Dave
bottle.
thinks.
Look at that bottle. Dave, give us your full report.
I would agree with pretty much everything that you guys have said. I would say it's basically like drinking grapefruit juice, but tastier. Because grapefruit juice, I don't think I would be able to, put back. Not like this.
So, full disclosure, Dave is not an IPA fan. If you've been watching this show for a while, and you probably haven't, but if anybody did, they would know that Dave is not an IPA fan. And we've had 3 IPAs in the past few weeks here.
Yes.
So there was, how would you rank this one compared to the other ones that we've had recently? So we had the fresh squeezed from Dishes,
which was last week.
No, that was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
What? No.
Yeah. Last week we had from a brew pub in Vancouver that I picked that Shane had to get in a growler.
Oh, the commode. Or
the
Kermode.
Kermode.
The commode beer from Steel Toad. That is so not
good.
Dave, man. So, Dave, clarify your words.
Oh man,
So how does this one rank?
to get real honest, I would have to be able to taste the others again, but just off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with I think this one would have to be, because it's the smoother of the ones we've had. Because I think it was the last week's, the Kermode, where the first slurp was really amazing, actually. Super smooth and tasty. And then I guess the hops kind of hitch on the back end, I noticed. And on the first go, and then of course it's, it's all hops from there on. This one though, like you were saying, Alan, it's nice and smooth. It doesn't have that edge that the Kermode did. So yes, totally, I'm giving this some thumbs up.
So now, Shane, I don't know if on your growler you were able to see stuff like this, but there's some information here on the label that it's kind of interesting that I'm reading this now. But it actually says, and I quote, "This juicy IPA brings a brilliant bitterness, blah, 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 blah." So they're even referring to it as juicy. Juice. Cool. They've also given pouring instructions for this beer. I'll hold those up there so that people can see. So you know how you're supposed to pour it. And interestingly, the UPC symbol is in the shape of a bridge.
That's kind of awesome.
That is awesome. I like the creativity.
That is some forethought right there.
Yeah.
Way to go, Dave.
Yeah.
So would this be the Lion's Gate then, I would imagine?
Yes. That particular bridge is the Lion's Gate Bridge. Which you would know since you lived here.
I did.
Right.
Briefly.
How long did you live in Vancouver, Dave?
I think it was about 9 months, actually.
Only 9 months? Oh, that's too bad.
That just was enough time to have a baby.
Shh.
I think Dave did when he was here.
Yeah, probably. He was a father.
Hush.
Me. I wrecked that guy.
So are we all giving thumbs up to the beer?
Yes, thumbs up for the beer.
I think we are.
It's definitely in the running for the best IPA of the year. However, Steel Toed last week is kind of kicking some ass.
All right.
So there you go. So in beer news this week, since the last time we got together, the Blue Jays fan who tossed a kokanee, if you can even call that beer.
Was it a kokanee?
I believe so, yes. I believe it was a kokanee can.
Can you get kokanee in Toronto?
Although maybe...
I don't think it's kokanee.
Maybe it's a Labatt Blue then.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, so this was when? Last October at the end of the thing, I think?
Yeah, it was... No, it was probably... I can't remember the exact day. It was either late September or early October.
So he tossed a can of beer. I don't know if he was throwing it at the player or if he was throwing it onto the field.
No, he threw it at a player.
So who actually? Kevin Wu, right? No, sorry, Kevin Wu. Kevin. Where the hell did that come from? Maybe that's the guy that threw it. His name was Kevin. Anyway, Hyun-Soo Kim was about to catch a ball and had a beer can thrown at him. So, Alan, is this enough damage to this guy? Like, really?
You know what? Initially, I said, throw the book at the guy. Like destroy his life. But then, I'm thinking back, and I heard somebody else say this, one of the talking heads on the sports channels, and he said that there was another game where an umpire made a bad call. This is again in Toronto, and literally hundreds of fans littered the ball field with beer cans. So what happened to those people? Nothing. There was just so many of them that they couldn't do anything. So we have one situation where we've got a guy who's the only one who throws something on the field and gets lambasted for it. And another situation where a whole bunch of people threw stuff on the field, including beer bottles and beer cans, almost hit actually in that second incident. Somebody threw a beer bottle that narrowly missed a baby that was in a seat in the first 3 rows. And nothing happened to those people. So why is this guy having all this stuff happening to him? And it's ruining his life. He lost his job. He was actually a sports reporter, funny enough.
Really?
And his life in Toronto is essentially over. Meanwhile, all these other people who did the same thing in the same place had nothing happen to them.
Now, is that actually something that... Because here's the thing, like, why did he lose his job? Just because of... okay, if he's a sports reporter, then yeah, okay, that's not. But is that enough to get rid of people?
Now, I don't know if he was actually on duty. I think he was off duty. He wasn't there reporting on the game. He was just there as a spectator. But still, and it's no different from that guy who went up to a female reporter, like one of those reporters in the street thing, and came up and said that bad thing that some guys say to female reporters, on a whim. And they discovered who the guy was, and he ended up losing his job over it. You behave like a goof in public, and things happen to you. There is no more anonymity.
So my question is this, is that if somebody does something stupid in the heat of a moment and does something dumb that any one of us could have done, had we a can of beer and we were sitting in the outfield and a player came by, the thing that that comes to mind is specifically oh my god, the actor that went crazy for a little while.
Which one?
He referred to a female police officer, called her sugar tits.
What?
That sounds familiar.
Who is this?
Not Randy Quaid.
Is it Randy Quaid?
No, not
Dennis?
Randy Quaid.
Rory Calhoun? But he did go nuts.
Not Rory Calhoun. Oh my god, he's a
Rory Calhoun.
William Wallace. Freedom! Blue face, long hair. Ran around a desert killing dudes for a while. What?
Right.
Mel Gibson. Thank you. Mel Gibson.
Oh, Mel Gibson.
A number of years ago, Mel Gibson had like a drugged out, combined with alcohol kind of experience where he I think yelled at his ex-wife on the phone or something, and then got arrested for whatever reason, DUI maybe, I can't remember. And I saw him actually just a little while ago when his latest film came out that he directed, and they asked him right away. They said, we haven't seen you in a while. Like it was Jimmy Kimmel or something. Asked him right away, like, okay, I have to, talk about the elephant in the room. We haven't seen you in a while. You've been kind of laying low because of the whole, thing you're running with the law a few years back. I think actually a few years. I think I'm talking 10 years, like a whole decade has gone by.
Really?
And
yeah.
Well, I will ask the Mr. Google. Sugar tits. This is all I can think of. Sugar tits. Mel Gibson.
Here we go. I hate to think what came up with a Google search.
This is what actually comes up. All the terrible things Mel Gibson has said on the record. So anyway, so basically, yeah, this happened at least 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, here we go. 2006. So this is last year when I saw him on television. But essentially, this is the thing that he said that sort of stuck with me, and makes me think that people need to be more forgiving of other human beings being ridiculous. So Kimmel or whoever it was just says, blah, 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 what's been going on, that thing. And he said, well, it was a mistake. I was drinking. I was on whatever the hell drug it was.
PCP.
I went into rehab after
Probably
that.
broke every bone in his hand and wouldn't feel it for hours.
You see this scar? So anyway, but what he says is actually is quite simple. He just said, you can't be defined by 15 minutes that in his case was broadcast around the world, but something that took place in less than 15 minutes, and he's suddenly a pariah for the world. I mean, this is the thing, is that we seem to be we've lost the compassion and the ability to just, you're nuts, that's too bad, you're so crazy, pat somebody on the back and say, but you know what, tomorrow's a different day, and as long as you didn't like pull out a gun and start mowing people down in your backyard.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What about that Playboy playmate or whoever she was who was working out at the gym and in the locker room took a picture of an elderly woman who was overweight showering and posted it online saying, if I have to look at this, then you guys have to look at it too, or something like that. So obviously she made like a huge mistake. Should she be forgiven for that?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Really?
I totally think so. But the road to forgiveness is something that,
it's easy for you to say. What about the person that she actually took a picture of?
Well, that person should, sue her for being
Get
like
over
that,
it.
because no, she should do something about it. But the reality is, in the long run, you need to kind of go, well, this person obviously has problems. I mean, it's like there was the event last week in Los Angeles called VidCon, where a whole bunch of people, mainly from YouTube, show up in a location to talk about the creation of video and stuff like that. And one of the people that showed up, apparently, now I'm paraphrasing a much larger story, but some kid in his early 20s has gained a fairly large following on Instagram and has become a thing. What his thing is, I don't actually know. I can't even remember.
He's got like long hair down in front of his face.
Or
no, that's Cousin It.
Oh, that's Cousin It. Thing is the hand.
Yeah, the hand.
Hang on. Here he is. But anyway, this guy basically has been reading his own press, and he's obviously had let his ego expand to the point where he referred to the security guards that refused to let him in because they figured out that he had a fake pass to get into the event. And he referred to them as ugly and irrelevant. Basically, I'm famous and you're just a piece of shit because you're not as famous as I am. Again, asshole thing to do, and the guy should be punished for he was punished. They didn't let him into the event. But is being an asshole kind of a condemnable offense? Apparently, according to the internet, it is. But in the real world, in non-internet land, the guy should obviously be told off by somebody who has some sort of authority, like his parents or friends or whatever, to be saying, dude, that's kind of an asshole thing to do, and you're kind of a piece of shit for doing that. So why did you do that, you fucking asshole? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And some security guard at an event's not going to be able to talk to him that way because he's already being an asshole. So, but somebody that they, because everyone has respect for somebody. And hopefully that person that they have respect for will turn around and, smack him, upside the head and be like, dude, what an asshole you were. Like, what the hell? You should go and apologize to that guy. Which, by the way, in true internet fashion, the people at VidCon, of course, had heard about this particular, whoa, what the hell was that? This particular event, something just fell on the ground. Heard of this event, and now the security guard, who happened to have an Instagram account as well, was provided a new following. So he went from something like 70 followers to 3 or 4 times this asshole kid's following. So which I think topped out somewhere 90,000 followers.
Do you think maybe that was part of the plan? Like, what if it was a setup?
Well, you never know.
Conspiracies, I love it.
I mean, so my point is that I was trying to give context to this, that this guy did something really fucking terrible. But in the long run, are we just to like hang him on a pike and be done with him? Or do you eventually say, you're an asshole that one day you've kind of you've calmed down, you're not such an asshole now, so don't do that again, and let's go get a beer.
The internet has created a mob mentality where it's the same as if you were in a small town in rural wherever, and you're going to go on a witch hunt, and you grab your torches and your pitchfork. The rule of law and the rule of the opinion of a judge in a courtroom matters not nearly as much as the court of public opinion. And the court of public opinion has a voice now that the internet is so prevalent.
What do you think, Dave?
I agree with that. But I think some people have said that the internet, it's not like this is new. It's kind of like it relates directly to what Alan's saying in that the internet just makes it easy for us human beings to engage in mob mentality type activities. The problem is that it's so completely decontextualized, and people just, if they're of the mind, can just fly off the handle after reading this article that probably gives you a quarter of the true story. And also, let's go back to the beginning here, the dude that threw the can. Well, should he get his ass kicked and lose his job and be turned into a pariah? Well, I don't know. Like, is he really given to this kind of shit normally? I don't know. And
well, you know what?
Is that dangerous to do that? Absolutely. Like, he could have done damage to one of the players on the field, right?
Oh yeah. By the way, this was what happened. He was given a suspended sentence for what was it? He's a conditional sentence, so he has to do 100 hours of community service, and he's banned from Major League Baseball games for the next 12 months. Now, he's also suffered from intense media scrutiny, internet, since the can toss. Has become the butt of jokes and has been subjected to online harassment. So there you go. So I mean. Cool. So, this is the thing. I mean, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, should the guy have lost his job? Sure, he did something really stupid. And I guess he is also a member of the organization. He's a member of that community. He is somebody who, I guess, covered the news about sporting events. So, yeah, he should have known better. Was he tanked out of his mind? Just made a mistake because he was drinking a little too much? Well, so is half the people there. But should he I think he also has to, what was it? He was actually charged with mischief under $5,000, I think was sort of the thing. So anyway, the point is he did actually get punished by the court system. So everything else is sort of outside of that, where the other thing is a couple of other things occurred at this VidCon event that were specifically a woman whose name I only just read this stuff and then moved on, but this information is basically this woman was on a panel, and somebody, actually a group of people who had been harassing her online for a considerable amount of time, were in the front row. And I gather there'd been some. She had a restraining order against one of the individuals in this group, and on stage referred to the person in the front row as being a garbage human being or a garbage person. So she got a lot of flack for that because she'd been constantly harassed, and then just lashed out at this guy. Then he was there. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but she was basically lambasted again online and harassed online. And I'm talking about people like showing up at your private home and leaving feces on your doorstep and doing things.
Sorry.
So there are a lot of other people that have experienced this kind of stuff because of just simply who they are. I don't know, but for me, it all comes back to there's a line in the film Ghostbusters is it Ghostbusters 1 or 2? No, it must be 1. Where they're talking to the mayor of New York, and the mayor kind of says, "It's every New Yorker's God-given right to treat each other like dirt," or whatever the hell it was. But again, there's no law against being an asshole, but does that really help us move forward? Not really. Sure, you can be a dick, but should we all just write people off as having a dick moment? I mean, I don't know. It's been since I was reading those articles, it kind of was popping around in my mind, and then this article just kind of brought it to the surface a bit. So I don't know. It's an interesting sort of conversation, I think, to be had, which has resulted, actually, to be honest, myself. When am I on Facebook? Never. I went on, I think, a couple days ago for the first time in weeks, because I just refuse to participate in the constant that type of behavior, even in a light kind of way. Somebody shares a video and says, "Look what this fucking asshole did," and I'm like, I don't really care. So it's that kind of stuff. So
it was a video of me, wasn't it?
Probably. Todd posted it. So probably. But it's interesting to me because everyone now gets there's always this very similar question about, "Hey, did you see the thing I put on the thing?" And I just say, "Well, no, I didn't." And then, "Well, I posted it like 4 times and it got, sorry, I'm just not there anymore."
But you didn't like it. Why didn't you like it?
I've actually had that. Why didn't you like my thing? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What thing am I supposed to have liked? Anyway, it's interesting. It's such a very, as you said before, this mob mentality has sort of become a thing, and it's not just a negative mob mentality. It's become a bit more than that. But anyway, moving on to other beer stories, because I'm going to shut the hell up.
Thank God.
Beer and ice cream for dinner. Dave, Alan, you found this article. Tell us more about why we should drink ice cream.
So this is from a website called Paste, Paste Magazine, and so what they posit is that there are certain types of ice creams and beers that apparently go really well together. So they have taken the time to figure out which ones do. And they came up with this idea because apparently from Stone Brewing, their Mocha IPA, somebody has made an ice cream that actually goes with it. Let's just look at some of these. So apparently a Hefeweizen and an orange sherbet goes spectacularly well together. That's something one of my vices is ice cream. I love ice cream, and I go down the ice cream aisle often. And one thing I don't see a lot of is sherbet anymore.
Really?
Have you
That's
noticed
actually
that?
A fair point. You do not see that very much anymore.
No, it's really hard to find a good sherbet.
I never even thought about that. That's
no, me neither. I'm just thinking about it now. It's like, this is something that we used to, when I was a kid, my mom would have in our freezer all the time because apparently it was more healthy than ice cream or something. But we would always have sherbet, which my mom always calls sherbet, which bugs the hell out of me now. It's not sherbet. It's sherbet or sorbet, if you must.
Sounds like the ultimate nerd name.
But apparently, Hefeweizen and orange sherbet is a great combination. So if you're ever feeling like having dessert, open up a Hefeweizen with an orange sherbet. Another good combination. I don't know if you'd necessarily want to mix the two, but you could. Vanilla ice cream and a barrel-aged stout. Actually, if you mix them, it would probably look like a root beer float. I'm thinking.
I think so too. I want one.
Yep.
It would be interesting to try that. Now they don't really give ideas for specific brands, but just find a barrel-aged stout. There's probably a few out there, along with some vanilla ice cream, and I think that would be a pretty good combination. I'd be willing to give it a go. Lastly, they have picked an IPA, which is what we're drinking tonight, with a salted caramel ice cream. Specifically, they've picked Breyer's salted caramel ice cream. And actually in their description here, it says, fact, IPAs are the best beers in the world. And fact, salted caramel is the best flavor of ice cream in the world. That's science. You cannot dispute it. Everything else is just fake news. So apparently, if you put these two together,
nice.
Take that, internet.
Yeah.
Hashtag beer is the best thing ever. Fake news on anything else. What are you talking about?
So that's
there?
my report on beer and ice cream for dinner. Thank you to Paste Magazine for that.
Paste Magazine, you always know where to go because that's how we roll.
It's all about the paste in the magazine.
So if we were to sit around drinking beer and eating ice cream every day, 3 times a day or more,
at least,
we'd be dead pretty fast.
What would you say about scientists telling us that we're going to have a limit to a lifespan? What about
very severely restricted? Yes.
So we talked about this. We talked about this in an earlier episode, probably about a year ago.
Why don't I remember this?
So scientists had come up saying that there was a limit to our lifespan of 115 to 120 years.
I just thought of Dave saying, "Why don't I remember talking about this whole lifespan thing?" And Alan and I are like, "Oh yeah, it's too bad that Dave died around Christmas." Dave's like, "What? What are you talking about? I'm right here." Yeah, so I really wish that we could just say that Dave. So the entire podcast for the last 30 odd episodes is just
he's
me and Alan.
He's
talking.
like banging on his screen. Guys, can't you see me?
I'm right here.
He's like in the Phantom Zone.
That is actually the best description ever. Dave in the Phantom Zone. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, you were saying, Alan.
What was I saying? I don't remember. Oh yeah. So anyway, we discussed probably I don't know last year sometime about how scientists had published a paper in Nature, an article in Nature that stated that based on scientific evidence, human beings have a limit of lifespan of about 115 to 120 years. And if anybody lives beyond that, they're an outlier. Apparently, that paper is being disputed by a lot of people who don't want to die. There's been a lot of scientists out there that have had problems with the experiment itself and dispute its methods for reaching their conclusion, and say that we can actually live far longer than that if medical science will allow us at that point. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting to bring up, that, something that we talked about earlier has been possibly refuted. What do you guys think?
I think we have no idea how far we can go.
Really?
Indeed.
I mean, as we learn, hopefully, crossing fingers, as we learn to take care of ourselves better, and treat ourselves better, then we'll just naturally see lifespan expand. But I think there probably is, I don't know if it would be a hard limit, but a limit. And I've seen stuff about this before where there is sort of a theoretical, I almost want to say hard limit, like these scientists are saying, to the human body, like, because it's physical artifact, there is a lifespan. And there's a certain range that we can't really push it beyond because of the nature of our body. And yes, theoretically, we can do the whole, we were talking about, the 3D printing. Oh, here's your new liver, sir. All right, sweet. Get it slapped in there in 5 minutes and you're good to go. And maybe we'll get there. Drive through, yeah.
Drive through livers.
Slap you on the gurney and
livers are us. Organs. Get your organs here. We got big organs, small organs, little tiny organs.
oh
well,
man,
actually,
it goes to bad places.
This story reminded me of that woman who died in 2010, who was 122 years old. She's actually referenced in the article here, or at least her photograph is. Where is she? Yeah, no, she's here. We are. So she was from France, and she died from old age in 1997. So I had to look this up here. Anyway, so she was 122 years old and 164 days. And then a little while later, because she had made this public claim that she was it was basically the oldest living human being, a guy in Malaysia, I think, whose name is where is he here? Maba Goto. I'm totally pronouncing that wrong. Now, of course, I don't know if it's ever been verified, but according to his birth certificate and his ID, he was born in 1870, and he only died this year.
Holy.
So he was 100. Now, according to this, 146 years old.
Woo.
So no, wait a minute. Let me confirm that just to make sure. Yeah, 146 years old. So,
but somewhere out there is a knight of the crusade that is guarding a cup, waiting for somebody to vanquish him in hand-to-hand combat.
Oh man.
And he's only probably like 600
he's referred to as the Grail Knight. Sir Richard, brother of Sir Richard of the First Crusade. Does he actually not have a name in the film? I guess not. He's just called the Grail Knight. Oh, that's too bad. But he actually doesn't have a name according to the original script from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which, completely as an aside, speaking of Facebook, Dave and Alan, did you receive my invite to my cool new event that's coming up next year?
I did.
And did you guys happen to go to the wiki?
No, I have not gone to the wiki.
Okay, if you go to that event, which I'll post right over here, I got to find the wiki's link. Hang on. Here we go. I'll put this in the chat. So this is the wiki that I created for this big adventure. Now, to give context to people listening and watching, my plan is I have this dream to go to the Arctic Ocean at least once in my lifetime. So there's a new highway opening. It's the very first piece of the Mackenzie Valley Highway project, which is supposed to connect Inuvik Northwest Territories to Yellowknife. And the highway is still being scouted. It's still being decided on where it's going to go. It's supposed to be completed roughly in 2024. So construction has not started because the first distance that they have to cover is between one community to another, Wrigley and something else that I can't remember. But anyway, point being, it's 690 kilometers long, and there's nothing in between. So think of this for a moment. Does your car, any car that you've ever had, go that far in a tank of gas? No, they don't. So there's a lot of planning that used to go into these kinds of things, and where they have to basically build stations into this whole idea so people can drive that distance. Anyway, the point being, I want to do this next summer, so a year from now, and I'm assuming you guys have brought this up, maybe.
Yes,
I'm looking at it right now.
Head into the resources section and go down to the very bottom of that page. So I kind of knew this, but because I was thinking about Indiana Jones because of the word adventure, the reality is that there are actually 26 Indiana Jones movies. 26.
I was aware of that.
So and of course there's another one coming out sometime in the next couple of years. So that I gather they filmed this year or something, or next year,
something like that.
But so there you go. There's 26 Indiana Jones movies. If you want to know any more about that, you can of course come to Tuck the Yuck Tuck with me, and I hope Alan and Dave. 6 people so far have confirmed.
Nice.
So there you go. But anyway, I don't know how they get talking about Indiana Jones, because we're talking about the Grail Knight. So anyway, I think this, begs the question, of course, which we talked about last time we talked about this, is whether or not any of us would want to live forever. Dave, what do you think?
Oh, live forever. No. No, I think no.
No?
Live a long time? Yes. I think the reality is that human beings, we're not really meant to live forever. There's plenty of people that would want to shred me for saying that, because, oh my God, life extension, infinite life, why wouldn't you want to live forever? Blah, blah, fucking blah. And I would just say, well, you're full of shit, because the simple fact is the planet Earth physically cannot sustain that kind of human life. It's just not doable.
Go eat some granola. Jesus.
I just want to live long enough so that I can, somewhere in the, hundreds of years in the future, when somebody decides that it's my time to go, that I can lay down and go, I have seen things that you people would not believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watch sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All of those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain. Time to die. So there you go. The worst performance I've ever done, but there you go. I essentially, I don't know.
You know what I would do on my deathbed?
What?
I'd be like, don't grieve, Admiral. It's logical. The needs of the many outweigh your line.
You actually missed a bit of your line before I could jump in there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, the one. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, there you go. So Dave's a no. I have a fantasy of living forever.
So do I.
Just to have a cool line.
You know what? Let's be honest here. We're on borrowed time right now. The three of us. I mean,
where are we borrowing it from?
We're borrowing it from the bank of life. I mean, way back when, what was the life expectancy of a male? Like, I mean, I'm talking like,
depends on the when you're talking
years
way
ago.
back. What do you mean? You better define way back when.
Yes.
Okay, let's say 500 years ago.
All right.
You were lucky to live to 50.
500 years ago, that is what? 13. 49, 20.
Actually, you're probably lucky to make
14.
it to 40.
Average
probably lucky to make it to 40.
Span of male in, I'll say, 1450. Life expectancy in the year 1450 of early European stupidity was 37.
37. There you go. So I don't know about you guys. I'm 45. Right? I by nature standards, I should be dead. But I'm not. I'm nowhere close to being dead, I hope. Because of medical science. We have increased our life expectancy from 37 to, could be up to 100 now. Without being
now for
too
a lot of
incredulous.
people, it's over the age of, I mean, in theory, according to data for Canadians, barring any major illness, we will most likely live to between 80 and 85 years of age, if not more.
Yes.
But of course, we're a little ways away from that. So who knows what's going to happen? Maybe we'll be Adonises running around the Garden of Eden, dogging as many women as we can.
We can pray.
At the age of 90. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we will. We better. But
No,
I'm not saying we will.
Great if we did. I mean, that's one thing about these high school girls.
The older I get, the more they stay the same age. Talk about dirty old man. But hey, if it works. I don't know. I think that I would like to live a lot longer. Yes. Would I want to live forever? In reality, probably not, because you eventually do get bored. And especially if
eventually what I want to see.
If I were this age right now and I stayed at this age to live forever, then sure.
You know what? We may not be able to live together, but you know where I see medical science taking us? The ability to upload our consciousness into a robot.
Oh yeah. I have this huge.
That's what I'm doing.
To tell people they have 30 seconds to comply. I mean, come on.
I think we've got a long ways to go before that happens.
Seconds to comply.
I think we've got eons.
I'm going to have an N209 body. Shane the Dewback looks better than looks better in the future than he does now.
Wouldn't that be cool to be like, you will have your conscious, life transformed into, something. What would you like to be? I think a dewback. The same Star Wars. Can you whip one of those up in the CRISPR machine? Sure. Okay. What does it look like? Big lizard, kind of humped over, or, goes like, has barely any movement.
I want to be Optimus Prime.
You want to be Optimus Prime?
Yeah.
In that case, I want to be Megatron, so that I can just say to you, "It's over, Prime." That's the only reason.
I could see Dave being like Starscream.
Dave, be Starscream.
I have no idea who that is. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Alan, is he gone?
Starscream is like Megatron's right-hand man, and he talks with this really high-pitched, annoying voice.
I see.
There's this film critic slash film some YouTube channel, which the name escapes me right now, is run by this 30-something girl who is incredibly smart. Like she's working on her PhD in film studies or something. So basically, she's becoming like a critic slash film historian kind of thing. But anyway, I watch her every couple of months because she does these like 45-minute reviews of either characters, some sort of thematic thing going on, like whether it's a character or a series of movies or whatever they might be. But the best part about her is that she has this addiction to Starscream. Starscream is her favorite thing ever, not just in film. So she actually did this thing of the different incarnations of Starscream for a while, which were brilliant. Can't remember her name, although so I'd give her a shout out. Whatever. Whatever. But yeah, it's brilliant. And so yeah, Starscream is like this character that gets crapped on all the time. What's an equivalent? What if Starscream were a character on Cheers? Who would he be? No,
who is that? Maybe Cliff.
Think of names.
Clavin?
Yeah, it's Cliff.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, the other Cliff.
I first went to.
Yes, of course.
Actually, yeah. He's always getting crapped on just for whatever reason. He never really gets ahead.
You know what he's more like? He's more like Brainy Smurf.
Yeah. Brainy Smurf. Yep. Okay, I totally can see that. That I want to see a review of Starscream's character compared to Brainy Smurf and Cliff Clavin. Yeah, you know that's been done before. If you look in the early Egyptian chronicles of the hieroglyphic library out there in Tutankhamun's tomb, you're going to find that you're going to know that Starscream is mentioned in the by several different people that were pharaohs of that time period. Wow. That'd be so awesome to actually see that happen. Anyway, hi. Blah de blue to blue. Do we have any other stories to jump into?
No.
We don't? None?
No.
We managed to cover them.
Wow.
Yep.
Dave, any final words, sir? You have the floor.
Nothing for me. Although I will say Starstream sounds kind of cool.
Cool.
I want to give a shout out to Bridge Brewing for their Sidecut Northeast IPA. Good drinking.
It is very good drinking.
I really enjoyed it. I'd like to go out and get more. I hope this wasn't a seasonal limited run thing, because this is something that I probably get more often.
Believe so. I think it is one of the. It's their. They have two IPAs, the Hopalano and the Sidecut, and they are both year-round brews.
Excellent.
I'm actually just looking at their list of beers here, and I think which one is this one? I am so confused as to where I've landed on their website. Bourbon Blood Orange. That's the one that we had before.
Right.
So that's the which, by the way, they had lots of. They had lots of the Sidecut too, but I got growlers instead. So anyway,
I'd also like to give a shout out to Canada. It's their 150th. By the time we do our next podcast, the 150th will have come and gone. I'd just like to say that I've picked up here from Lighthouse Brewing here in Victoria, their 150 Heritage Ale, which was made in honor of Canada's 150th, which apparently tastes like smoky bacon.
Nice.
I'll be having this on the weekend, and I'm interested to see what it's like, and I will let you all know.
Well, I think we should do that beer next week.
Okay.
Let's do that beer next week there, Dave.
Is it me?
I think it's Dave's, but I just picked for Dave. Unless Dave, you want to do something else?
Well, I tell you what. Well, let's do this one next week.
We could do that one.
Do this one
Dave
next
can
week, and
pick
then Dave can pick the week after.
Cool.
All right.
Rock and roll. On that note, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for checking us out. And you'll get to see this fascinating bit of worldly Canadian content every week if you want to, because we're going to do it anyway. So
all right.
That's how we roll.
If you don't like us, bite me, man. God, what's your damage? I feel like a stake should hit me in the side of the head while riding a bike now. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.